What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have a poppy, cocaine, and Viagra trip report for you. The title of this trip report is Pseudo-SpeedBall, and was submitted to Erowid in 2004 by the user Lazy Vegan. With all that being said, let our story begin. This was an attempt at recreating the infamous speedball without actually injecting anything. For those that don't know, a speedball is slang for an intravenous injection of a mixture of heroin and cocaine. I have in the past had extensive experience with this combo, but have long ago abandoned experimentation with intravenous injection of substances with questionable purity. I always found heroin boring on its own, and I find cocaine on its own to do nothing more than make me overstimulated, anxious, and want nothing more than more cocaine, even though I thoroughly dislike the entire experience. However, when mixed together and mainlined, it is by far one of the most physically pleasurable experiences I have ever encountered. And I have pretty much encountered everything. I find the opiate takes the edge off of the cocaine, and the coke keeps me from nodding out in an otherwise blissful opiate hole. I find altogether they provide me with a very balanced, flowing, yin-yang style experience. Anyways, over the past few years, I have developed a wonderful, well-balanced relationship with the beautiful poppy pod. On occasion, I have found the pure, natural blend of alkaloids found in this beautiful flower to be far superior to the heroin I gave up years ago. Although poppy tea is one of my favorite experiences, lately, I have been dreaming about the speedballs of times gone by. The experiment. To try and recreate the speedball experience using only poppy tea and cocaine. Before attempting this experiment, I exhausted all my web resources, and I was very surprised to find not a single trip report anywhere regarding this combo, other than when taken intravenously. The experience. My lady friend C and I settled in for another few days at my earthbound space base. We had about 40 poppy pods and an 8-ball of coke. Judging on previous experience, I would say both were of the highest quality. After a few cups of tea, we both began to feel the delightful warmth of the poppy tea take over our bodies and mind. I was once again perfectly, completely content. I had no desire to change this feeling. But I was on a mission. I set up 2 good-sized lines for C and I. The coke added a new, delightful, pleasurable dimension to my otherwise perfectly satisfying opiate high. There was none of the edginess or complete distaste with the chemical that I normally associate with cocaine. The two were synergizing exactly as I had hoped. I liked it. I vowed to never do coke again unless it was with poppies. But none of this changed the fact that I still had to redose with coke every half hour to maintain this feeling. That is the ticket price of cocaine. But the urge to redose was not nearly as strong compared to if I had done just coke alone. Because each time I came down very gently onto a nice, fuzzy, cushy opiate buzz. Very nice. None of the nasty, typical coke come down, just as I had hoped. But anyways, this continued very nicely throughout the night. We watched some movies, etc. At some point, I decided to eat a 100 milligram Viagra pill I had acquired. I had hoped this might counteract some of the problems I encountered maintaining an erection when using either of these drugs alone. I found it made it no easier for me to get an erection. However, once I had one, it was maintained indefinitely until I went to pee, make more tea, etc. This is in contrast to the previously mentioned problems just maintaining one on these drugs. Definitely an improvement. The only other change came when we had only about a half gram of coke left. We decided to intravenously inject the rest over the course of a few shots. Having long since given up this practice, I was a bit hesitant. But I agreed. We timed the last few shots to coincide every time with the new cup of tea we made. I would say when taken in this manner, the IV Coke rush, mixed with the fresh tea rush, reminded me very much of a speedball. Also found the previous Coke sniffing/tea combo to come very close to the real thing. However, without the intravenous rush. I've always found Coke intravenous to be very different from other methods of administration. Either way, it was a very interesting evening. Peace. All right, everyone. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and share with us your speedball experiences down in the comments below. Check out the other videos and playlists on my channel, and I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.